Ooh, that was a long 5 seconds. What just happened? I felt like I froze. Or did you
A
get a
little bit. It froze for like 2 seconds.
Okay. All right. Something happened. Anyway, hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host, Tracy.
Hey, y'all.
How you doing?
I'm good on this Easter Sunday.
I know. Happy Easter to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually did a little bit of virtual church before I logged on here.
Really? You know what? Say what you want about COVID, but in some instance, it has made life very easy for people.
Mhm.
So my
Yeah.
mom does that too with like Juma on Friday, where she doesn't feel like she's pressed to go, where she'll just, do it from home, which is, admirable. But considering that she goes to line dancing on Thursday, I'm just gonna call her out.
Wow. Wow. Listen, your mom is booked and busy, and let's talk about your mom because not only is she booked, not only is she busy, she's a cover model. Can we talk about it?
Let me tell you, I was just like, Mom, look at me. I made the Projo. A whole article basically on me. And she said, look at me. I'm the cover girl.
Just looking all
No
extra
competition.
cute, just side profile. She's like, get my good side. And
She
she's
looked
just
good.
like on the cover of Boston Seniority.
Yep.
Is that the magazine? Yes, looking good. Looking good and looking just vibrant and making like the latter years look like goals. That's literally what I posted in the comment when it
Mm-hmm.
got posted. I was like, this is goals. This is what I want to be when I'm 75. I still want to be outside. I still want to be socializing and engaging in activities because that's what keeps you going. I had this
100.
conversation just the other day with someone. They were talking about being concerned about their mom in her latter years and saying like, I don't know what I'll do without my mom. And she's a nurse, but she doesn't live the healthiest lifestyle as far as like food and diet and things and exercise. And I said, number one, get your mom a Fitbit. Number two, make sure when she does retire next year that she has some stuff to do.
Yeah.
And that's what your mom's doing. Your mom is not lacking for stuff to do. Like, I saw her last week at the State House.
I know, right? She is constantly busy. She was telling me this story this week about how she has a sewing class and they're doing quilts or whatever. And so
Mm.
everybody's working on their quilt and she has her little quilt that she's doing or whatever. She talked the whole session and they were like, Amina, you gonna work on your quilt. And all she could do is start laughing. I said, lady, they're gonna kick you out.
That's like in school. I used to get that on my report card, like,
Same.
talks too much.
Hmm.
But that's not a bad thing, although she should be working on her quilt, working and talking. That's what I tell my son. I'm like,
Hmm.
you got to work and talk. Like we can have this conversation, but if you're in the middle of something, you need to multitask. But it's so funny. It just reminds me of those report cards. They're like, Tracy's an excellent student, but she just
Hmm.
talks too much. That's
I had the same
okay.
thing. It's the only child syndrome. Even though she
It
gave her own child,
is
it was
maybe
definitely the only child syndrome for me. I got
yeah.
around kids and I would just get, like, very excited.
I was getting my work done. I don't understand
I
what the
was
problem
too.
was.
The
They should have
honor roll
followed
student,
my
stop
lead.
playing.
They should follow your mama's lead. They should be talking and quilting at the same time.
And it's so funny because you say, she looks so vibrant or whatever, but she has showed pictures of the other women, and they all look fabulous. They're all taking
Oh,
advantage of, these programs that Boston have. I hope there's something very similar here in Rhode Island, and we probably should like just bring it up, look
yeah,
into it to see what, some of our listeners, because everybody's dealing with the same thing, old parents
yeah.
to an extent, you wanna make sure that they are happy, and I've seen too many people retire, and I had a neighbor who adored. She used to make the best cookies, but once she retired, she lost a sense of herself.
Yeah,
She
I can
totally
see
lost
it.
a sense of herself because she didn't have work anymore. She worked at Brown, and you're around Brown, you're around professors, you're around the youth all the time, and she didn't maintain those connections, and she died. I mean, part of how she died too was she did have cancer. But before that diagnosis, and even after that diagnosis, she just completely shut down, you know?
Yeah, you have to have a reason to keep going.
Yeah.
Look at my mom. She's 81. You can't stop this lady. Yesterday we were out and we were going somewhere and she was navigating some stairs. And I'm like, why won't you hold on to the railing, please?
Mhm,
She just thinks her age is reversed. She thinks she's
mhm,
18, not
mhm,
81.
mm.
So I was like, ma'am, listen, can you please hold on to that railing? I need to hold on to it. So I'm begging you to do
I
so.
always hold on to it because 'cause I'm deathly afraid, and my coworkers always say I have, these fears that are irrational. Because I have a fear of getting hit by a car or being
No.
stabbed, but in the wintertime, because I don't wanna
What?
be out on the
Okay.
and it's cold. I know it's
Listen,
irrational and stupid.
at least you know what your fears are. So when it's time to try to face them, you know what you're dealing with here. I've never had those fears, but I'm sure I have other irrational fears. They're not coming to mind right
Mhm.
now. But I think that because of how I was raised, everything is imminent danger. So
Okay.
anything at any time could be imminent danger. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm always keeping my head on a swivel for anything that
Mhm.
could possibly be going down. I think about your mom. I think about my mom. Yesterday, I went over to her apartment to pick her up to go out. And she's like, so should I wear the jeans with the cuff up, showing the sequins, or down? This is what I'm dealing with.
First of all, anybody that wears sequins, I like flashy things on
My
the
girl,
clothes.
then my
Go
girl's
girl.
like, she's like, should I wear the shawl or the leather jacket? I was
Mhm.
like,
I'm sorry.
do you want to be cute or warm?
Mhm.
And she's like, she chose cute. I was like,
Uh-huh.
man, I
But
can't.
that's
I can't.
you said she chose cute like you not her daughter,
How do kids do the little finger?
like you and not her child.
Yeah.
That's where you
Yeah.
get it from, mom.
I get it from my mama, 100%. I get style, like, I get a walk-in closet and wanting to dress, and I
Mhm.
get all of that from that lady because my mom, she loved to be fashionable on a budget.
Mhm.
She literally raised me in Filing's basement.
Mhm.
I was there every single week, and she showed me, like, okay, how to read the markdowns
Huh?
on the board that they used to have. Like, there was, like, 4 dates and, it was, like, whatever the percentages off, up
Mhm.
to, like, 75% off. So she taught me how to look for deals and bargains. She
Mhm.
taught me, "Okay, this is a good brand. This is a quality stitch." All of those things I got from her. So I would
Mhm.
not be the Tracy you guys know and love if it wasn't for my mom.
Okay, talk softly about her
I know, I
and her
gotta take it easy.
sequence. Talk
Easy
softly,
on my
ma'am.
girl. Listen, she still tries to borrow my clothes.
It's hilarious.
If she sees something I'm
And
wearing,
she
she
probably
likes
looked
it.
just as good
I'm like, "Here, just it's
'cause she
yours now,"
knows her style.
or I'll just buy her one because she will literally wear my clothes. So,
That is hilarious.
yeah.
I love it. I love it for our moms. I'm glad that, that part we don't have to worry about
Yeah,
'cause
so
I
we
see a
we know
lot of
what we're
people do.
looking forward to because 'cause we're gonna live just like our mom. We're gonna live by those examples.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And my cousins are throwing my mom up into their mom's faces like, "Do you see what auntie's doing? This is what you need to be doing. You need to be out there line dancing with her. Stop staying at home."
You gotta keep that blood
Mhm.
flowing, you gotta keep the heart racing, and you gotta keep the juices. You have to have a reason to get up
Yeah.
every single day, and it's not saying you gotta go outside every day, but it could be a hobby, it could be a friend circle or 2 or 3 or 4, or an activity, something. You can't just get up and watch. I was gonna say Jerry Springer, that's not even on anymore, that rest in peace to a king, but
He
you
died?
can't just. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know Jerry
like
Springer
2
died.
years ago, maybe.
Okay.
But, you can't just get up and watch the stories every day and cook bad
Can you
food and
even
not.
watch stories like we used to?
Girl, the stories are still on. Some of those are still going. I never was one to watch stories. That was never
No?
my jam. It wasn't like a thing we did in our household, so I didn't grow up watching stories. And listen, we Caribbean. Everybody had 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. Wasn't
Mhm.
nobody home during the day to be watching stories.
I was watching some General Hospital. If I was home from school, it started with Ryan's Hope.
And
So
in the
that was
summer, I guess in the
all
summertime,
my
you would do that.
children. Yeah, I used to watch the stories. I was addicted to those, but yeah, I didn't even know that they came on. I know that they are still on, but I didn't know they
Yeah,
were on the actual channels like they were before. I
those
thought that it was all streaming.
still I believe they're still going during the
Okay,
daytime. But yeah,
okay.
it was like Price is Right. That's the stuff my grandmother used to watch. She'd watch game shows. She loved a good game show, um, and things like that. But we were just always out. We didn't stay
Mhm,
home watching a lot of television, to be
mhm,
honest with you. You know, a little bit, but not
mhm.
during the day. Not a lot during the day. But yeah, you have to have a thing to do in your
Exactly.
retirement. I plan to be continuing my travels in my retirement
Mhm.
days.
And my parents, they not to I don't mention my father as far as his retirement, but he's out every single day too. He may not be at a class, but he's busy all the time,
And he has a
and they
huge
travel a
garden.
lot. Hmm?
He has that huge garden that they tend to
No, not they. He
that's
tends
my
to, ma'am.
okay, so dad. So that's what I'm saying, like,
That's his
that's a
thing.
whole like, that is a whole endeavor that requires a lot of attention. That's like having a
Mhm.
child,
Well, their
having a
yard
garden.
in general.
Yeah. So that's beautiful. That's how
Mhm.
it should be. You shouldn't be sitting at home, like, decaying.
Mm-mm.
Your retirement is meant to be enjoyed, so
Yeah. So find some joy in it, and they definitely are. And the beauty of it also for me is that you know how like some people retire and then they can't stand each other, and then that
yeah.
that marriage becomes really tested, and they're arguing and bickering. I'm glad I don't have to deal with any of that. My parents are they argue, but it's not on a toxic level. They are very good friends. I always say that from the very beginning. They are very
Yeah.
tight, you know?
They're
So
so cute together. I love
mhm,
it.
mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. Anyway, so it's been a crazy good week.
Yeah.
Lot has happened. Real Housewives of Rhode Island aired.
Yes, it did.
Shahida spoke at the State House.
Yes.
What else happened this week?
What happened
I
this
feel like there
week?
was a lot going on in Rhode Island. Just yesterday, the African American Museum of Rhode Island opened on Broad Street, and that was
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful.
It looked amazing. I wish I could have been there, but you captured some amazing moments. The
Mhm,
ribbon cutting, the actual some of the exhibitions, the
mhm.
attendees. It looked like it was a great turnout and a
It
great
was.
way to kick off because it started virtually,
Yeah.
which, at first I was like, how are they going to do this virtual museum? And it was a really
Mhm,
interesting concept. And then lo and behold, they ended up with the brick and mortar,
mhm.
with time and patience. And I'm so proud of Gloria Johnson and Dr. West for just getting this done because the community definitely looked like they showed up.
Mhm.
And our rep, Congressman Gabe Amo was there.
Seth Magaziner was
Seth
there,
Magaziner was there. Yeah. So,
and we gotta shout out Ma Dukes, Helen Basterfield Dukes, because she started this. This was her vision.
mm,
And reached out to, different people to join the board to help put this together. They had the curator there, and her name is Dr. Keene. I can't remember her full name, but when you see the picture, she's the one with the big afro.
okay.
And she, curated everything. And she's not originally from Rhode Island, either is Dr. West, but you get so, impressed with the history of the Black history of Rhode Island because it is very rich and it is extremely deep, starting, during slavery and beyond, and just the accomplishments and the perseverance that so many in this small state have gone through. It was very impressive. Matter of fact, the picture on the wall, well, in the window is
Yes.
yeah, that's a beautiful picture. And the descendants were there. So
Wow.
is, I think, 5th generation with the same name. I can't remember what his name was, and his great-granddaughter, I mean, not his great-granddaughter, his granddaughter was there as well. So I had no idea that it was that close, and that was a beautiful picture. It's a beautiful picture.
It's a couple. It's a Black
Yep.
couple, and it's like a sepia photo with this gorgeous Black couple, and the woman's in her full bustle and her,
Mhm.
pulled together in her beautiful vintage gown, and the man, they just look so elegant because at that time when you took a photograph, it was very intentional.
Yes,
It was a
extremely,
whole
'cause it's expensive.
event. Yeah, expensive, time consuming, all of that. So for them to have that documented and be able to, you can just walk by on the street and see that beautiful image.
Mhm,
It was very striking to me, so I made sure to reshare that when I posted
mhm.
on our socials because I wanted people to see that image and really take it in because it's very powerful, so,
And it
yeah.
also made me realize, and I had this conversation with my mother about us documenting and saving things. So
Yes.
many of us have, you're struggling with life. I'm just going, a couple of generations behind us that you're struggling with life and you may not feel it necessary to write your life down. You might not feel like it's, important enough, but it is to your descendants to write it down, put things together. My mother has been working on something on her life for like the last year. She's been dibbing and dabbing in it. And she says, you know what? I'm being more conscientious about it now. I want my great great grandchildren and those above me to know that this is how I lived and this is what I did and these are the contributions that I made. And I'm like, I hadn't thought about that either, but we need to all start thinking about that. What we want to leave behind other than just our land or, our knickknacks and stuff like that, but the written story of our lives. I think that's important.
Right, and I've watched so many episodes of, like, Finding Your Roots where
Mhm,
Dr. Henry Louis Gates will say to a celebrity, "Did you know this about your great-grandparent
mhm,
or your mother or your father even?" And people are so in the dark about their family history.
mhm.
Even as close as their own parents, there's information that comes to light, not necessarily bad. Some of it is, eye-opening or shocking,
Yeah.
but some of it is just beautiful, like, military service or, they bought this plot of land back in 1897 or whatever it is. And these celebrities are just like, and you would think that these people, because they have access, they have money, they have
Yes.
resources, would know more than us.
Mhm.
They know just as little as the common person about their family history if it's not carried down. So you need oral history and you need documentation as well.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to be able to, through ancestry.com and through 23andMe, actually track down some of historical documents going back to like my third or fourth great grandparents
Mhm, mhm.
and see their actual marriage records, their birth certificates and
Mm.
things because Honduras kept a very meticulous written documentation of that. And then those images have been uploaded actually and shared with me through the internet. So I'm just like so grateful for that. And it's interesting to see like the misspellings of the names or
Mhm,
like, the pronunciation compared to how it was written, all those things because people were generally not low to illiterate at that time, but it's written in this beautiful penmanship because they would get someone who really knew how to
mhm,
scribe to document things in these books. And it was just it's I love it. I think it's great. But
mhm,
sometimes I talk to my siblings and I'm like, "Oh, I found this out of," and they're like, "I don't care." They could care less. I
mhm.
really care about those things and it's beautiful to me
At
and I'm
least
going to
there's
keep sharing
someone
it. And
who
I share it
cares.
with my nieces and nephews because they
Yeah.
may like to know. It's just like a family photo album. We don't have the family photo albums like we used to. When I was a kid,
Oh,
I would
yeah.
pour over my
Me too.
family photo albums. Like look at the pictures over and over. It was like so entertaining to me. I loved looking at old photos as a kid.
And I did too, and like you said, like, I know my grandmother, they'd be like you go to, like, your grandmother's or your aunts or whatever, there'd be, like, 5 or 6 books of, like, just, like, photos of them, but
Yeah.
the thing that I love most about them is how it captured so much joy. I don't know what it's like in the '50s and the '60s or whatever, I know there was a lot of hardship, but I know when I poured through those books, like you said, there was a lot of joy captured, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it was some pain captured in some of those photos. I don't know who had the little Kodak, but they got some good stuff. But most of it was just seeing, your relatives, your aunts, your uncles, especially as they were younger, because
Mhm.
and them enjoying life.
Yes,
It I
and the
love that
fashion,
part.
I'm a fashion girly, so looking back at, like, my mom in a mini with, like, a platform shoe and my aunt with the halter top and, like, the
Mhm.
hot pants
70s
or
was no
the
joke. That fashion.
afros. I mean, I loved it, and even photographs from my family was a big picture taking family. I don't know
Mhm,
how we got to be like that, but we took a lot of photos that what
mhm,
they did. And even the just touching the pictures because they
mhm,
were like a thicker paper and they had like those rounded edges. I
mhm,
love those old pictures. And I would take them out of the photo album and take them to school and show my friends like my family.
mhm,
So my photo albums, they would have alopecia because I'd be
mhm,
taking pictures out of the book and my mother and then just let me do it because I just wanted to share with my friends like this is my family. It just
mhm.
I love it. So yeah, we do need to do better. And I'm gonna try to remember to tell my kids more. Today is actually the anniversary of my grandmother's passing. She passed away this day in 1995 when I was just 21.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so yeah, it's 30 years,
Mhm.
30-year anniversary, well, 31-year anniversary since she passed. And yeah, I'm just, I'm grateful for the experience that I had, with my grandparents. And I have photos of all
Yeah.
of them actually.
Yeah, yeah, I always think back to my just growing up with my cousins. I was the only child, but I had, like, 6 or 7 cousins that I grew up with that I was very tight with, that my aunt's children,
Uh-huh.
and I love that time period looking at we have, like, so many Easter pictures too,
Yeah.
looking at them
If
and
you can
yeah.
find yours, we
Okay,
should
I have
post
them.
ours. I'm gonna see if I can find mine because I remember some distinct Easter photos. I
Mhm.
gotta see if I have the pictures or if my mom has them, but I would love to post, or we could just find any older picture of us and post.
I got it. No,
We'll
I
post
definitely
them
have I
on
think I
social.
have a couple of years of Easter pictures,
Yeah.
before my mom converted to Islam, so I was in those Easter pictures with the hair all done and the dresses. I know they should be in pretty decent condition, but some of them are, like, not in the greatest condition. I need to actually take those to, like, CVS or something and have them restored.
Yeah, you can have them
Because those
restored.
Kodak, they have that, like, crinkleness to it or whatever, but I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I'll find them. I'm pretty sure they are in close proximity to me because when I was doing my mother's 75th, I had all the pictures that I was, trying to get together. So I think I definitely have it.
Same
I'll
when I was
send it to
doing my birthday last year and I did
you.
the decades. I had to
Oh, yeah, I
go
love that.
get that, and that was, like, one of the reasons I did that because those photos me and they actually, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but my mom was moved to tears when she saw the photos at my birthday.
Really?
And my mother is not a crier. I'm not a crier,
Uh-huh.
but my mom broke down seeing those old pictures because they were so big too. Like they were,
Yeah.
it's different when you're like looking in the book, but because of how tall those exhibits were at the
Mhm.
party, they were so large that it overwhelmed her and it brought her like she was flooded with memories and brought to tears.
So this is one, and this is not me, this is my mom
My gosh.
and my aunt Jeannie, and this was in Memphis, and it was at a wedding that we went to. I thought I had, like, a closer one of, because this was on my phone, so
My goodness. Is that
my
their wedding day?
Yep,
My gosh, look at your dad's hair.
yep, yep, so I will definitely find
I love
those
it. That's
pictures.
beautiful. Yeah, we gotta post some. Oh my god, look at little. Is that your mom or you?
That's my mom,
My gosh, because I was like, that doesn't quite look like
the
you,
era,
but
that was
I could see it. Yeah.
1957.
Oh my gosh. And I have pictures. Oh my gosh, the pictures. So in Honduras, I don't know if this was an American thing, but they took a family photograph for
Mhm.
the passports. So if
Okay,
you
yeah,
when
yeah.
it would be the entire family in one picture for the passport.
Mhm.
So there's a picture of my grandmother and her 4 kids all in one photo for their passport. It
That's
is the
wild that they would
cutest
do it like
thing.
that.
Yeah, but I don't know, that's just the way so I gotta find that photo. There's so many family photos so we'll share some since we're getting, like, nostalgic and talking about
I know,
family.
and I'm, like, feeling that I'm, like, going through my phone now because I had actually just took pictures of a lot of them to send to, like, my kids and my brother. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, do you
I'm
remember this?"
always sending pictures to family, old pictures, and my aunt will send me pictures I've never seen before. I'm like,
Mhm,
send them to me. But, as I was listening to that sermon, that Easter sermon this morning, the Reverend was saying, like, today is a good day to bury the hatchet. If you're arguing with family, if you're distance from family, today is a good day to reach back out to those people. And, or if you just want to be closer with the family member, today is a great day for that outreach and just encouraged it. And I was like, that is so beautiful. I thought that
mhm,
was a beautiful message to send because Easter is about rebirth. It's about
mhm,
resurrection. There's a lot of metaphors there. So yes, Christians believe Christ rose on the third day after Good Friday, when he was crucified, and then Sunday he rose. And so it we call it Easter, but truly it's resurrection day. And you
mhm.
can resurrect some of those like relationships, some of those tarnished, situations that have happened. Maybe you disagreed with somebody. And that's the thing with family. You know so much about each other that, you have ammunition, right? So
Mhm,
sometimes you fall out or whatever. Even friendships, you know what I mean? There may be
mhm.
a friendship that has gone by the wayside. It could be a good day to just reach out to someone, wish them a happy Easter, and try to start over.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. Like, I mean, of course, I don't celebrate Easter, but of course, I'm very much so aware of it. But that is a good way to think about it as far as, like, what, forgiving your enemy maybe? Is that, or is
He
that
didn't say all
just
of
a little
that.
bit differently? Okay,
He
'cause
he
I'm
ain't
like,
say all of
okay,
that. What he said was to reach
I
out.
think we're on the same limb,
And I think that's important because some things I wouldn't say are
family.
unforgivable, but you should remember some things and you should
Mhm,
acknowledge them. So it's not just turn a blind eye, that the Bible does say all of that stuff, turn the cheek. But I think that in 2026, restoring relationships is less about just giving someone a pass and more about having a conversation about what happened.
right.
Maybe you'll agree to disagree about where things landed, but sometimes you'll find that if if you reach out, someone's been waiting for you to reach out, right?
That is true. That
So
is that is
there
very
could
true.
could be an opportunity, and is you may not get what you want. You may not get someone to admit fault, but you may be able to start anew.
Mhm, that's a good point. So
Yeah.
think about that on this Easter. What do you do? What are your plans for Easter? You did your service already.
We gonna eat.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna
Who's
eat,
cooking?
and the man down at the restaurant is gonna be chefing it up because guess who's
Mhm,
not cooking? I've had this conversation about like Thanksgiving and Christmas, just those holidays where showed up and showed out. My kids are all adults. My youngest is about to turn 25.
mhm.
Those days of bending over backwards and y'all need to be making Easter for me. And if not,
Mhm,
we're going to the restaurant because I don't have it in me. I have so much going on. Like I have 11 jobs. I'm so busy.
mhm.
And to me, like slaving over a stove is not my idea of a great Easter celebration. Plus, Easter always falls near my birthday. And I feel
Mhm.
like it's my birthday week, it's my birthday month. I don't feel like doing none of that.
I get it.
So,
I
new
get it.
attitude. Yeah.
I get it. Oh, yeah, your birthday's coming up next weekend.
Me and my twin Tanya, actually
Mhm. That
Wednesday is our birthday. Yes.
I thought it was the 8th.
It
No,
is.
I thought
It
that
is the 8th.
okay, I need to look at a calendar and understand.
Today's the 5th,
It's so hard for me to realize that it's April. Time is just
but
flying by.
I will see you Saturday. That's probably why you're thinking Saturday in conjunction with me, because I will see you on Saturday for a volunteering opportunity with
And then I know
women.
that's the 11th.
That is the
In my
11th.
head it's the 11th, but I still in my other brain that doesn't work well, I'm like, the 8th is on Sunday.
It's all good.
How? How, ma'am? Yes, happy early birthday, but I definitely will be
Thank
talking
you.
to you on your birthday.
Yes, me and my twin Tanya from Still Dope Podcast.
I think, yeah, I gotta find out what she's doing for her B-day. Yeah, I know.
That's why I said Wednesday might be a little iffy for me, but Thursday,
I gotcha.
definitely. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, because when you said Wednesday would be iffy for you, because folks, we have to announce that we are going to be following and discussing Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
Yes, we
There's a
will.
lot to discuss there. And even though I was not aware of any of these women, and we're not gonna go deep into it. We've actually invited some Rhode Island natives to have that discussion, and we're gonna have that discussion without Tracy on Monday because she got 5011 jobs. She's busy.
Do.
But we will be discussing episode 2, which airs tomorrow, with Tracy probably on Thursday or Friday. So we're gonna have, like, probably 2 episodes coming out, but we decided that we have to discuss this with Rhode Islanders, 1,
Yes.
and 2, it's so close to home, and honestly, for me, after watching it, because you did watch it, right?
Yes.
So we're not gonna go into it, but honestly, this was I've never seen any women like this in Rhode Island.
I don't know these people.
I do not.
I will save my comments for
Mhm,
Thursday, and I'm also trying to also remind myself that I'm not really a Real Housewives watcher. So
mhm,
it'd be interesting to talk to you and other people who actually watch Real Housewives franchises because
mhm,
it's not really my jam.
mhm.
So I have that lens, but it's also the lens of who are these people? But again, saving my comments for later because I do have some comments.
I was big in the Real Housewives franchise in the very beginning. Like, I was a Real Housewives of New York person. That was
Mhm.
my show. Loved it. I got into Beverly Hills a little. I just stopped watching them probably about maybe 5, 6 years ago. I'm not that interested anymore. To me, they are very toxic relationships,
Yeah,
and they do not represent friendship at all. And I guess sometimes you want to feed into it and watch it. It's entertaining. But I told you a couple of weeks ago, I think I'm over reality shows as it really. I tried
that's a big confession for you to make because you started originally your original podcast was based on Married at First Sight. So that
Married at
got you
First
into the
Sight.
podcasting world.
It really
Well,
is.
ironically, yeah.
We went from Married at First Sight, we did Love is Blind. We've kinda, like, traveled a lot through all of the shows, and honestly, the last few that I've watched, which was Age of Difference, or what was it?
Yeah, I remember you saying
Age
that.
of Affection or whatever that was. I told Chris and Tanya, "I'm not watching it." I did 3 episodes, and I'm like, "I just found it disgusting. I'm not watching it." But the other reality shows, the Love is Blind or whatever, you just can't get me to believe that the majority of these people are coming here for a relationship. Everybody is so toxic. The last Love is Blind was just absolutely a nightmare, in my opinion. Then I watched Love is Blind Sweden, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm just out. There was a reunion, and I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm not even gonna watch the reunion. So I'm pretty much over it, but I did start this one and I think what piqued my interest more was it's right here. And it is a lifestyle and are
We have to
women
watch it. It's our
that I don't
obligation.
recognize because I
It's
feel
our
like I know a lot of people in Rhode Island. And I'm not saying these women specifically, I mean their lifestyle, how they're thinking, that kind of thing. They just seem so different from even the white women that I know, like all the Botox and the lips, and I don't know these women.
I don't know 'em.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So guys, be on the lookout for us recapping that with our Rhode Island buddies
Mhm, I'm
because
looking
it'll be
forward to
interesting.
that. Yeah, I love to have listeners join us too
Hmm.
because it gives a great perspective. Yeah, I love a good listener join.
If you guys, tag in, I mean, we will definitely have you on here. Please tag in, especially if
Mhm.
you are, a lifelong Rhode Islander. Like if you've lived
Yes.
here all your life, your mama's from here, we want to hear from you.
And if you're shy, just comment. That's
Yeah,
fine.
if
You
you're
can
shy, just
comment.
and we can read it, or you can send us an audio and we can play it.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I'm excited about it, but yeah, it's even Mia liked it. I was surprised, and she
Okay.
doesn't watch any of those shows either.
It's definitely out the gate, off the
Mhm,
rip, that it's
mhm,
already spicy, so
mhm. It is. I saw that there was a polo match, and I know we're trying to go to a polo match, which I'm
oh,
very
yes.
excited about.
I would love to do that.
Mhm.
Even if it's just me and you and Teresa. Listen, everybody doesn't have to come. We just need to make it happen because I've been to a polo match before, and I
Mhm,
don't go for the polo match per se. I go for the
mhm.
vibes, for the just the whole getting dressed to go, the whole, the ceremony of it
I've
all,
never been.
of
I've never
attending.
been. So I'm ex
And this is the one we're trying to go to is Jamaica
Mhm. That
versus I don't
sells
even
out. Are the tickets on sale?
they are, and I hope they don't sell out, so we need to nab them
Yeah, we need to get that together, like, ASAP. So,
ASAP. So,
we're
yeah,
gonna wrap it up because some
we
people
are,
have
but we
things
have some
to
shout
do.
outs. We
Okay,
have
give me
some
shout out.
announcements rather, calendar announcements. So,
Okay, yep.
Shahida, do you wanna kick off with hold on, let's see. You said I'll let you start because your thing comes first and it's on Tuesday the
Oh, yeah, I know. I should know the dates. I don't know the date. Anyway, so on Tuesday, the state house is having the Voters' Rights Act come to the floor. So there'll be testimony, there'll be like written letters, and I know many of you probably haven't heard a lot about it, but it is part of the SAVE Act, but it's I know a lot of, especially Rhode Island, Republican leaders are saying it's all about voter ID. It's so much more than voter ID. They're trying to disenfranchise so many of our voters, and we are trying to codify the federal law into state law. So all the protections that are under the Voting Rights Action of 1965, we are trying to incorporate into a state law here. So that comes to the floor. And if you can make it to the State House at 4 o'clock to maybe offer testimony, then please come on down and support.
Yep, and that is state law H as in Harry
Yep.
8334. So yes, and that what I just held up that postcard, this QR code, if you scan it, will actually bring you to the state website. And this is a postcard that says protect the vote. And so what this is basically is a little note to your state rep and your senator. You can cut it in half. And Shahida told me I did not know you can drop these in their mailbox at the state
Yeah.
house. I had no idea.
Yeah,
Didn't know
you
that
can
was a
drop them
thing.
at the mailbox, you can drop them at their desk if you know where they sit, and Tracy came to the State House this week and, absolutely loved how it was all laid out, but a lot of us don't know that there's a State House, library that you can just go there and read your latest crime novel if that's what you wanna do, but it's a space that's there for us to utilize, but it's also a space for you to run into or go to the office of one of your elected officials. And as Black people, I am encouraging us to know who our reps are, know who our senators are, so that because they work for us. They are
Yeah.
not, we don't vote them in and then let them go about their business, whatever their business is. No, their business is our business. So we need to be having communication with all of them. So it's very important. And if you they have tours and stuff, and I don't think many of us take advantage of that. So we should go to the state house, understand, where we can actually meet our elected officials and talk to them, but also utilize the space. But before I forget, and I just got this email not too long ago, Gabe Amo and Seth Magaziner are actually hosting a Rhode Island Day at the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. And I believe it's in May. So you could go to either one of their sites so that you'll go to the DC office and you'll go to Capitol Hill. You'll see where they're working. There's going to be lunch involved. I believe it's in May, but I'll find out the exact date. So put that on your radar because those people work for you too.
I want to tell my DC and DMV people about it because I have some family down there that will probably enjoy that. So
Hmm.
I'll definitely mention that to them. And you gave a speech that was chef's kiss last week. I reposted it on our socials, and you were being mad humble about it, but Teresa was the one that actually slid in my text messages and said, "You need to post this in our group chat." And I was like, I'll
Get
take it a step
Teresa.
farther." I was like, "I'm gonna post this on socials because people need to hear what Shahida had to say." And it was about, from start to finish, from the time you took the podium to the time you left, it was about 3 minutes, but it was a very rousing 3 minutes. And when I tell you the room erupted, like, people really received what you had to say very well. So, we joke about you going into politics and things like that, but seriously, I would be honored to have someone like you representing me in these acts because you're so passionate about them and you know your stuff. That's the other part. Shahida came with the facts, the statistics, all in 3 minutes. She gave a whole history lesson, and she really advocated. So, beautiful speech,
Thank you.
beautiful location. And even if you're not going to read your crime novel, the aesthetic for your selfies is fire. You will look so smart if
That's
you
the
go
fashion girl talking.
to the state house. Just go in there, and they have like these spiral staircases to get up
Mhm,
to if you get up there and you just hang off carefully off one of those little spiral staircases. I mean, that's your Facebook cover
mhm,
picture right there. But yeah, so that happened, and that is happening on Tuesday. So 4 p.m. at the State House. You all know the building, big gold top with the man on the top of it,
mhm.
in Providence. We also have upcoming next week. Well, this weekend we have High Society in Boston at 8 p.m. I'll be posting the flyer for that. It's a 45 plus event. Okay. Let that sink in.
Okay.
45 plus
It's on a
vibe.
Monday?
It's on a Saturday. It's Saturday
Oh,
night.
okay.
So after we do our volunteering opportunity on Saturday afternoon, I'm gonna change clothes and I'm gonna be hanging with the 45 plus lounging
I did
crowd.
not know about this, but I think I'm down.
It sounds good, right? And that starts at 8. It starts at 8 p.m. now. We'll tell you that.
Mhm.
So you take your nap.
I'm gonna have to.
So that's happening. And then next week, I'll just give you some teasers for next week in case you guys want to plan ahead. Next Thursday and Friday is super busy. Thursday, the 16th, the Providence Children's Museum is having Cocktails and Kicks Gala. So it sounds really fun. I love all the adult activities they do at the
I
Providence
know, I haven't been to
Children's
one, I
Museum.
need to go to one.
It's from 6 to 11, I'm sorry,
Mhm,
6 to 10 that night, and you do need to purchase a ticket to attend
mhm,
it, but it is a gala. And
mhm.
then the same night, if you want something a little more casual, the PVD Art Club, which is a space that I love, is also having Art After Dark that starts at 8 p.m. Oh, sorry, it starts at 5:30 p.m. So you have to pick
Mm.
one because one starts at 6 and one starts at 5:30. So
So
depending on
what time does the one that start at 5:30 end?
8 p.m.
So you could do both.
You could do both. You definitely could. You could party hop for sure.
Mhm.
But you would have to, the outfits gotta change though, because
Yeah.
for the gala, you gotta be a little bit more upscale. But Cocktails and Kicks is giving me the impression that sneakers are involved. So
O
it might not be too.
okay. See, I was thinking
Yeah.
more of, kinda, Audrey Hepburn kinda
So it says, and I'm reading here, it says cocktail attire and whatever foot covering you like, even your favorite pair of sneakers. So you could essentially wear the same outfit
Mhm.
to, PVD Art Club and then hop over to the gala. So you could do that. That's absolutely a thing. And then Friday the 17th, there is Afroverse PVD. It is Poetry Month, National Poetry Month. So our friends, Vlad, Sarah, all the people that we love are going to
Mhm.
be descending on Afroverse PVD at the Brass Monkey. So lots going on in the coming week.
Where's the Brass Monkey? Is that on the East
I
Side?
will tell you right now because I'm about to Google it. Brass Monkey. It is on Allen's Avenue in
Okay, I knew I
Providence, Rhode
seen it
Island.
before. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Got it. A
So
lot.
that's happening. Yes. And I want to give a special shout out to Selena, another poet who is an avid listener, slides into our DMs every now and then to remind us about activities. And we're going to try to get her on the show as well.
We're just
Probably
gonna get her on the show.
we're
We're
gonna
not
get her
gonna
on before
try.
the end of
We're
this
gonna
month
get her
because,
on.
yeah, she definitely has a lot to say. And in addition to poetry, she's also a pole dancer. I love that juxtaposition. So we got to talk to our sis. We got to talk to our good sis about upper body strength and about poetry and
Let me
prose.
tell you. before we go, I tried a pole dancing class,
Same.
and if you think that those women don't work hard and that there's no level of strength and sportsman-like body involved, you are crazy.
So if it wasn't so controversial, I'd say it should be an Olympic sport because and they could do it fully clothed, you know what I mean? But pole dancing,
You
that
think about the bathing suits, you
right,
could
they
do
could
it in
wear a
the air
little like a
too,
little
or
bikini thing. Pole dancing should be an Olympic sport. I'm just gonna put it out there.
that's some work, and shout out to her. I'm glad you mentioned it because 'cause I'm gonna have some questions.
Yes, yes. So we're gonna get our homegirl Selena on here.
Mhm.
But until then, you know where to find us. We are on social media. We are on Instagram and we are also on Facebook. Those are our only two social medias that are active right now. We may have a dormant one laying out there. Feel free to engage with that if you like. You know the one starts with a
Mhm.
T, ends with a K. We ain't on there.
Mm-mm.
But if
Not
you
at
would
all.
like to watch new episodes virtually every week, pretty much every week, you Spotify, iHeartMusic, Apple Podcasts, so you can listen or you can watch. That's where to find us. And we love the comments. We love the emails. We
Mhm.
love
Keep them
all the
coming.
engagement. Yeah, come through.
I just wanna say as, we head out, for all the people who claim that there is no community in Rhode Island or things for people of color to do, Tracy just named some very exciting things. Only one of them came from Boston, but the rest was right here in your backyard. So you go out and enjoy them, and hopefully you'll see either one of us or both of us.
Yes,
All right.
that's the goal. So until then, we'll talk and check in this week for our updates on our
Good, you got that. I would have been like, no. So anyway, so until next time, enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Peace out.